Now what's left for us to do is to get the user profile with this. We've done that before with the users, which display the user list, but now we want to display a single user from that list. So let's see how can you go about doing that. So below I'm going to create a new function. We're actually going to be creating two functions in this video. We're going to get profile, request response, and we also gonna create another one, get dashboard, request response as well. So this one is gonna get the authenticated user, his own profile, and this one's gonna be anyone's profile from a user list. So people would go to the user list, select a user, click on it, and it will go to their own page. This you only show for the user that is authenticated. If you're using, it's going to show your data. If I'm using, it's going to show my data. So let's go ahead and create these functions. So on the top in here, we use the user.find to find all users on the list, on the array. Here we're going to use find by ID. So try catch const user and user dot find by ID. Here you go. See, I have a method over here, and we just need to pass the request params dot ID. Now here's the thing, we need to do a check if that user actually exists. Otherwise it's going to return as an error if the user is not there. So if not user, we can return a response status 404. Remember the 404 error is not found. So user not found. But if it does exist, we do the one we did before, status 200, which is good to go, and then we send that user. For the catch, we do the opposite, status 400 error, and we send the error. So let's try this get profile. I'm gonna get someone's ID. HTTP so here I will do now HTTP 8080/users, and then I pass the ID, which is the route we are giving. This is the endpoint. /users that comes from here, our endpoint /users is /ID, and press enter. User not found. And why? We did not do our routing. So get user controller dot get profile. So now we have our full router. Get, put, delete, get and post on the /users, and on the /users ID, get the profile, we update the profile or the user, and we can also delete the user. So let's try it again. Oh, we're getting an empty object. And here's the problem, we didn't await over here. So this send is getting executed before our data comes back from the server. So if you save it and you try it again, there you go. And let's try with the other object we have. I'm going to change the ID for the other object. There you go. So that works. Let's get going and do the dashboard now. The dashboard, I'm going to just create the boilerplate because we actually need the authentication to make it work. We need to actually verify the user is there and do what we need to do. So I'm gonna do the try catch and just gonna send some data over here. So the error, and here I'm gonna send just you must sign in first. And this one, instead of getting from the params in here, because here we're getting from the URL, when the users go to someone's profile, it's gonna show it on the URL, the ID. So here we're getting the params, we're getting that ID from there, from the URL. But here, we're also gonna use the find by ID, but we're getting the ID from the database, and the database, as I mentioned, has an underscore here, ID underscore. So request.user.id. Well, first we need to authenticate the user and then save the user to the request. So first we need to create our auth system for this to work. When you're gonna authenticate the user, we're gonna add the user object to the request. We're gonna attach to it so we can have access to this ID. So this for now it won't work. So I'm just gonna comment it out. But so far we have everything we need for our user resource. Here we have a create user, get users and update, delete users, get profile, get dashboard. Before we commit and finish up, we didn't test it for the deleting the user. So let's go ahead and test it. I'm gonna get the user ID from here. I'm gonna delete the second object. So we do HTTP delete and the ID. You press enter, it should appear okay. And if you check your database, you should have only one entry, which is mine. If you want to delete this one, you copy that one and you're gonna go and delete again. So like that, and it's okay. Refresh, we don't have any objects in it anymore. So our application, our user resource is complete. We need to authenticate the user so we can finish up the dashboard. But the basic functionality is in here. We just need our authentication to request the users. The user, there's no S over there. When our authentication is gonna be read, it's gonna we're gonna attach the user ID, the user object to the request, so we can use it in here. So now we can commit get profile plus dashboard. One thing I didn't mention before, it's every time you commit, it's always good that you use the linter. So remember we created the package.json. We create the lint script. So if you use npm run lint, it should fix anything, and also it will format your code as well. So now we can continue. Next, we're gonna talk about database security. So stick around and see you in the next lesson.